So, oh my God, dude, I was telling her I don't look 63. I could probably pass for 40 now. All right, enough on that. All right, let's go do this, man.
Hi, my name is Chester Johnson. I'm the co-founder of the Stockbossup app, and today I'm here with George Crawford. George Crawford is a guru. He's a guru when it comes, in my mind, I believe it. George is going to probably disagree with me, but I think he's a guru when it comes to options, when it comes to crypto. He just knows it. He loves to help people with investing, and I am just privileged to have you on today. Thank you, George, for joining me.
Thanks, Chester. My name is George Crawford, but if you Google me online, my tagline and moniker is Trader Dad. And that's driven because I have 5 daughters who are all trying things in the abundance space, and I always encourage them. I personally had a long career in technology at IBM for 28 years, at Accenture Consulting for a couple, and then decided in 2012 maybe that given my understanding of the markets and technology, that I could try and do some things that allowed me to, I don't want to say retired, but stepped out of the corporate world, and I'm an abundance life coach for friends and family, and I really just try to help.
Absolutely. Gene, who I interviewed him a few weeks ago, you can check out that video. George is one of his mentors.
Yes, you're talking John Inaku, who's from, I think he's from West Africa. I'm not really sure, but he stepped into our trading group. Dancing Naked on Wall Street is the name of our Tuesday trading group. And John is a directional trader, and he stepped into our trading, and he's gotten spun up on option trading. He's doing really well. And I probably talk to him at least once or twice a week just to make sure he's doing good. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Good stuff. So before I go into the dirty secrets of everything you know about crypto, let's talk a little bit about options. A lot of people that are going to look at this video are relatively new to investing. So I'll start with the basics. With options investing, what's the first thing you want someone new to options do or learn?
I think the primary thing I want all option investors to learn is the concept of cash flow. When I actually have an asset, and whether that's money, stock, real estate, or crypto, is there an opportunity to get that asset to cash flow in my life? And so the first option strategy I teach is selling puts and credit spreads as an alternative to owning stocks. And you can make consistent money owning Apple, owning Tesla. In one of my more fancy strategies that I run in Tesla, every 2 weeks I make 72% return on capital. One strategy in Tesla every 2 weeks. For you smart guys out there, take 72% every 2 weeks and extrapolate that over a year. For my better followers, they've doubled and or tripled the size of their accounts, even in this economy. So if you have interest in this, through Chester and myself, we can get you going. But let's figure out how we can not only cash flow your money, cash flow your assets, but anything you own. I don't care if it's your car or your house. There's a new world, and the technology that's here allows any enterprising young person to be able to live a life based on the ability to produce cash flow on the things they own for the people they love and the people they care about.
Awesome. So I'm curious. We talked before the interview about people that you're mentoring. For your pupils, the people that are under your wing, what's the first you said vertical put or maybe put spreads is one thing you do, but for them, what's the first option you make them try?
To be honest, what I try to do is evaluate each of my students from where they come from, and I try to get them to sell options, if you will, or put spreads in things they're comfortable with and what they know.
Awesome.
So I always try and start and meet people from where they are, and then gently allow them to walk down the path of abundance, because everybody's journey is a little different. And so I think the best success I have is when I can meet them where they are, or at least find someone in my organization that they connect with who can guide them. And that's really been a good thing.
Awesome. Okay, now I really have to ask, from your current portfolio today, what strategies are you doing in terms of options?
Oh, which strategies? Let's see. I've done 14 fills today, and it looks like I have broken wing butterflies and Oracle. Oracle just bought, I think they just bought TikTok. Is that not correct?
I think so, or at least they're saying they are. Chinese media is saying they didn't, but that's just a mess. So yeah, they probably did.
Tesla, I just did one in there. I did a Jade Lizard, a more sophisticated structure in semiconductors, because I think someone just bought ARM. I want to say it's NVIDIA.
Yes.
And then other things that I've done today, I did put spreads on in Facebook and Starbucks and gold today, and
Awesome.
took off winners in the Japanese market. So I've been pretty busy this morning so far.
That'd be a good question. I guess just for one example of what you're doing, can you explain the broken wing butterfly that occurred, just in like generalities, what it is?
Oh, okay. So this is a little more sophisticated strategy. For those who are familiar with butterflies, you go about, in this case, I sold at the money puts, and then I went equidistant on both sides and bought a put. So that's the normal structure of a regular butterfly. But in a broken wing butterfly on the put side, I went out one extra option on the long side, on the short side. So in fact, if I were to take you through my Tesla strategy, and please do not duplicate this.
Do not duplicate. You heard it right here.
Yes. So when I work with Dancing Naked on Wall Street, these are all paper trades for the purposes. I'm not making a recommendation. So I ended up buying I bought a 405 put, which is $5 out. I bought sold two $400 puts, and then I bought a 390 put. So $5 on the upside, $10 on the downside. Tesla's currently trading at around 390, and I think in the next 10 days it might stay above 400.
For
My
the
risk is $5
Mhm.
total, but I got paid a $2.60 credit to put the trade on.
Awesome. For our listeners, in general, is your goal for Tesla to just move away from its current price, or is it to stay where it's at, or to go in some direction?
This particular strategy is designed so that I can make weekly cash flow on Tesla as long as it stays above $400 a share. And I think that's reasonable. Also, at the end of March, I did buy Tesla shares at around 300 bucks. So I'm pretty happy holding on to my Tesla shares. But to be honest, I do weekly, bi-weekly butterflies in Tesla, hoping to grab between 25 to 70% return on capital every 2 weeks. That's my goal.
I want to note for the audience, George I also bought Tesla around that time, but George bought it $300 pre-split. So he's
Yes, yes. Yeah, this was going back in March. And imagine my surprise when Tesla ran, oh my gosh, ran to $2,500 or some crazy number.
yeah.
One of the ladies I follow, if you're familiar, you'd like to track exponential technology companies like Tesla, is her name is Kathy Woods, and she runs ARK Investing.
Mm.
ARKK is the name of her fund. I was able to buy that fund also at a very, very much discounted price at the end of March, and had really good returns. So for those folks who like to invest in exponentials and technology like a Tesla or maybe a Square, she's been very good for me, just letting us know and letting my folks know what kind of technologies make sense in this type of environment we're in today.
That's incredible. I have to ask, like, one example of a great exponential tech stock that you're eyeing right now.
Well, I thought of Square, and most people don't know that Square is, it's run by, I think his name is Jack Dorsey, and he runs Twitter, and he runs Square, and most people don't know that he's the one that sold TikTok to the Chinese. He had the first version of it. It was called Vine. So Vine, so to me, one reason I like Square is because of Jack Dorsey and his mind. Another reason why I like Tesla is because of Elon Musk and his mind.
Yeah.
And so I'm willing to invest, just like I did with Steve Jobs and Apple back in the day, had a nice run. And to be honest, I've been hit or miss with Apple since, we lost Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my goal is to help Elon get to Mars. And in the process, I'm
Yeah.
sure I'll have a Tesla, I'll have one of his routes, I'll have his power pack, and I know as soon as he turns on Starlink, I'm in. He's already doing 100 megabits with through. Like, guys, he's about to disintermediate the entire internet industry.
Oh man.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry about that. I probably went too far.
It's all good. No, too far is good. Yeah,
Great.
I think, George isn't investing because he wants profits, but he's also investing in
Absolutely.
Mars. That's invest in what you want.
Exactly. Well, I think the vision for people who follow me when, as Trader Dad, what I ask my mentees when they step into my space is, what do they want out of life? What do they want to accomplish? And then, can I get there working for somebody else, or can I get there creating for myself and becoming a producer of technology? And to the extent I look at any of these new technologies that are just around the bend, I always look at it from three perspectives. One, can I invest in it? Two, can I apply it in my life and what that look like? And then three, if I can help my family or friends do it, what does that look like? So for example, in 2012, I was one of the first users of Airbnb. I knew it was the right thing. And to be honest, in this pandemic, I don't stay at hotels. I only do Airbnb with my can of Lysol. Trust me, it's the only way to travel today with some sense of security. And you can go in there and clean it out and have a nice home to yourself while you're traveling. Only way to travel today.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I have to now pivot because we were talking before the interview about crypto, and you and I really have a thing for crypto.
Yes, we do. Yes, we
so,
do.
so we'll start with the basics. You were talking about the Lend crypto. What's going on there? What's your thoughts about it, and why do you think it's a interesting crypto?
Sure. So for those folks who aren't familiar with crypto, crypto is an alternative to fiat currency, which is what the US dollar, the euro, and 196 currencies around the world are made by Federal Reserve kind of banks. And they create currency that we utilize today. But that currency usually has some stuff attached to it, whether it's interest rates, debt, and or taxes. The beauty of the crypto space is, for the first time, an individual, a citizen anywhere in the world can mine, print, or stake their own currency. And this currency is decentralized and not controlled by any one individual, any one organization, any one country. Bitcoin is perhaps the biggest crypto that's out there. And today, it's probably worth $10,000 a coin. I think when Chester and I got into it, I got mine at about $300. So I've been pretty happy with my original Bitcoin investment.
I wasn't. I was in at $3,000, so I wasn't as clever.
It was, at the time, I had a conversation with one of my daughters as I saw her struggle with economics at the collegiate level. And I realized she'd been too close to me on the abundant stuff. And if she's mining Bitcoin, so literally creating her own money, tell me again, why do I have to use money and utilize money this way as prescribed? And for me, it was an opportunity to say, okay, let's see if you can manage both forms of capitalism, traditional capitalism or crypto capitalism. And so crypto capitalism is interesting because Bitcoin doesn't have an interest rate tied to it. If you don't actually spend it, you don't have to pay taxes on it. So it is an interesting alternative to maybe holding gold and silver. And the thing that I recommend for everyone today is just diversify your holdings. And so when you diversify your holdings, yes, maybe own some paper products like we do in the markets, maybe own a little real estate, but why don't you diversify your monetary holdings? And so what's happened in that space since 2009, when Bitcoin started, is there's a level of maturity that we're seeing today in the crypto space. And what's happening is there's a whole concept called decentralized finance, DeFi. And so DeFi is an alternative to traditional banking. So Chester made a comment about Lend. So Lend was a way for me to do personal lending for those who wanted, and I've done this before, through peer-to-peer lending, and Lend was the first. Now, I acquired my Lend at about 10 cents a coin, and last time I checked, it was at 80 or 90 cents on its way to wherever it's going to go. And I've had a reasonable return on my money. So as I look at what's going on in the crypto space today, right now, everybody's running at decentralized finance where you can lend money. You can create pools of capital that can be lent. And you can also get paid like a savings account. You literally can put your money on an exchange today and get anywhere from an 8 to a 20% return on your money on an annualized basis. For anyone who's listening to me, go to your bank, look at your savings account, and ask them for an 8% return on capital. I'm sorry, I should not be laughing. This isn't funny. This is real, and it's an opportunity. The thing I would recommend today is take $100 if you've never done this before, get the Cash App from Square and go buy a piece of Bitcoin and at least just watch it and see if it increases in value. And then over time, you can learn a little more and dabble a little more.
I will say to that, I've always been interested in this decentralized finance world. Not only are there peer-to-peer lending, but I've also been very interested in the peer-to-peer exchanges that have been made by cryptocurrencies. I don't know if you ever heard of any of those.
Sure. So, Chester, I'm an old tech guy who used to work for IBM, and I tend to do everything in threes. So what do I mean by that? It's a high availability strategy. So even in my daily trading, I trade in 3 different accounts. So Charles Schwab, Thinkorswim. I think I even have a Charles Schwab, Thinkorswim. Oh, and Tastyworks. I even have a Robinhood account that I haven't traded out of yet. So, so in the crypto space, I actually have. I probably have too many brokerage accounts. But let me tell you the ones that actually will give you cash flow. So Binance. Binance is perhaps the largest crypto centralized brokerage account today, but they're trying to decentralize their blockchain.
Yes.
And the coins I bought for $2-3 are worth $30 today.
Are those the Binance coins or?
Yeah, the Binance coins, and now they've got some share coins. So I would say Binance, Crypto.com, they are doing very well in that space. Another space I would tell you that I'm fascinated by is the EOS space. So EOS space is a third alternative. So if I look at the major blockchains that are out there, the blockchain version 1 is primarily driven by the Bitcoin space. And I'll call it kind of blockchain version 2 with smart contracts. That's where the Ethereum base is. When I look at the latest version of blockchain, which has tremendous performance, it's the EOS blockchain. And I like that blockchain because they do about 50 to 60 million transactions daily, right around the same level that a Visa or MasterCard does. And they top out at 4,000 transactions a second. That is huge for trying to do things in this space and trying to service millions of people who have interests.
Yeah.
And specifically in the EOS space, there's a DeFi coin called BOX, B-O-X. I spotted it when it was at 70 cents, but I didn't get any until it was $10. But I think we're going to see some interesting appreciation in many of the blockchains and the coins that dabble first into this space. I've been watching one called Yearn that went from $8 to 30,000 a coin in a matter of 2 months. So very interesting and dynamic space. And then to put it in perspective, maybe 2 years ago, at the end of 2017, you had a lot of coins that were being introduced, but Bitcoin was growing and expanding, and it got to almost 20,000 a coin back in December of 2017.
Yep.
And so now here we are 3 years later. Bitcoin did something called a halvening, and it went as low as 4,000, and I got a lot of my followers in at 4,000. But when it hit 10,000, I had them sell half because I wasn't sure if it was going to run through. So I think Bitcoin's going to run. But back in 2017, it was called initial coin offering. There was just a lot of frenzy around there.
Yep.
So this time, I think we have frenzy around distributed finance. And so just to put this in perspective, if you've been in technology a long time, 20 years ago, in the early 90s, 1999, there was .com and the introduction of the internet, and Google won that.
Yeah.
And if I fast forward 10 years to social media, to content creation, you had two big winners there. You had YouTube, which is part of Google today, and you have Facebook, which is about content creation. And now here we are 10 years later, and we have this whole thing, internet generation version 3. And the way I can spot who the winner is by who uses what blockchain and which coin the most. And right now, the hands down winner is EOS. So I think going forward, as this particular space tends to settle down, the usage story is clearly on the side of EOS has won internet version 3.
Absolutely. I will say to the audience, relatively speaking to 2017, crypto is quiet. It's not hitting mainstream media. It isn't the priority story. It's almost in stagnation right now. And when there's no real, in my experience from my hedge fund times as a hedge fund cryptocurrency manager, when things are quiet, that's the time to really do your research and just check some things out. And you just got 7 great ideas from George. So just take a peek. Just take a peek. See what's out there.
Yeah, it's clearly not for everyone, but it's not an end all be all. I'm not recommending that people sell their houses, their cars, and empty their retirement accounts.
Don't do that again.
No, but maybe take $500. My initial investment in Bitcoin started with less than $500. And I remember cashing out half of it in 2017, into 2017. And I still have coins left over, and it's cash flowing. And I gave you a couple examples where I'm literally making 10 and 20 and 30% cash flow on my cryptos, plus the coins are appreciating. That sounds like real estate to me. It's all the same thing. And one of the aspects of DeFi is if I go into DeFi properly, I literally can pull cash out of DeFi and it's not taxable. It's like when someone might have a house and you refinance to take the loan out, you still own the asset, but you wouldn't own, and you could use that. So for me, the reason I push so hard on this abundance is that the winning business models in every industry always gets replicated. Yeah. And what we're seeing in the blockchain and the crypto space, as we are decentralizing traditional banking, oh my gosh, the same things that have worked in traditional capitalism carry over to the crypto assets. So if you have a mind for it, and please do not use everything you got, but diversify your holdings. Maybe 2, 3, 5% of your holdings should be in non-US denominated assets going forward.
Awesome.
Go ahead.
Oh no, that's it. Go ahead.
Yeah, just the word of caution on the US dollar right now. It is the currency reserve. It's been the currency reserve for 80 years, which is unusual. Usually after 50 years, the fiat currency gets swapped. So with what we've done recently, where we've just spent $3 trillion for the US economy and dealing with the pandemic. And so we printed maybe an extra $1.5 trillion US that we need or would have needed. that's going to put downward pressure on the US dollar. And I think the average consumer is already seeing higher food prices. They will see elevated utility prices. And in a few years, I think they're going to see large asset prices because the buying power of the US dollar will continue to drop.
Yeah.
But you know what won't? Gold, silver, and crypto will continue to rise. So just as, long-term view, yes, we live in America. You have to conduct business using US dollars, but let's diversify our portfolios and access to resources so that in this new world, we're going to be okay. That's my recommendation.
Absolutely. I haven't seen inflation jump yet, which is very shocking to me since we're now $3 trillion in additional debt. But I think that shoe is going to drop
I'll
quickly.
give you two anecdotal stories. So this one came from my sister. She lives in Ann Arbor, Michigan. You got a nice university up there. She called me the other day and she says, brother, before the pandemic, I spent $40 for a bag of groceries. I just spent $140 for the same food this time.
Yeah.
And that was about a month ago. And then myself, I love Kroger chicken. So usually when I go into Kroger, I'll get a bag of stuff to go with that chicken, and it's about $40. That was pre-COVID. Post-COVID, same food list came out to $79.
Yeah.
And I looked at that and I thought, okay, so the inflation is here.
Yeah.
And just be careful as you listen to the pundits talk about there's no inflation and there's deflation. That might be true for the 1% club or the 10% club, but for Main Street, our costs are going up. Our utility costs are going up. Our rents are going up. And I still go to auto auctions. And because of the low interest rates, used car prices are staying elevated.
Yeah.
So something to watch and to be aware of. And literally just get on the right side of this equation so that you are not a victim, but you can take advantage.
Absolutely.
It's really, I call it having a producer mentality. If I could produce the asset that I would spend money on, then maybe I can also participate as that asset increases in value and I produce it. I can add income both from a cash flow perspective and from an appreciation in my life on everything you own for the most enterprising folks.
Absolutely.
Right.
George, thank you so much for joining me today. George Crawford,
Enjoy it, Chester.
guru. I will have him on again. Just a wealth of knowledge, and I'm humbled that you took the time to share it with my audience.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much.
I love what you're doing. I love the support you're doing, and that you're teaching people how to invest and how to think about investing. And I'm looking forward to sharing your application and game theories with my groups. I'm really looking forward to it, Chester. So keep up the good work, man.
Awesome.
You rock. All right.
Thank you very much.
All right. The wife doesn't let me out of the house to do anything. The only thing I can do is because I live on a golf course, I can go to the AT&T in the clubhouse. You're going to love this. Vitamin D and sunlight. Of course, I got a mask up.
Yep. I'm glad to hear that. I've been telling, my partner, I've been telling her I gotta play ultimate frisbee in this pandemic or else I'm gonna go crazy. I need sunlight.
Sunlight. You got a vitamin D. It's all right.